The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League has arrived at Wheatland, Missouri to settle all the Champions Tour points battles and establish bragging rights for the long winter. The exciting mini rods are on tap today, and there's been a great back and forth all season between the Boyds and the Sheltons. Austin Boyd's Green Streak Black comes into tonight with a 6-point lead, but Grayson Shelton sawed off is hoping to put pressure on Austin and close the gap in this critical final round. Who will take the class crown? Find out now. Welcome to Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri for the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals, presented by Lucas Oil Products. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears here to call all the action for you. Looking forward to this one, of course. We'll put a button on some things here for 2021 with a couple of these classes and crown a champion.
Yeah, it's always nice to come to Wheatland because, you know, it's a culminating event. A lot of the pullers get here super early to make sure that they can enjoy the great facility here and then, of course, stay to watch all of the competition. So this is a 2-day format. We're going to see our 8 Champions Tour classes in competition over the course of these 2 days, 1 Silver Series class and then our Western Series class as well.
So we'll cover 2 different categories, the limited pro stock tractors and the Silver Series. The championship there, well, when we came in here, it was separated by just 7 points, and 7 points is all it takes to become a champion, and that will be Quentin Hartman. We'll talk more about that in a few moments. Also, a great battle for the mini rods we'll see a little later in the show, where the top there is separated by just 6. Tom Gallops will kick off the limited pro stock tractor category with the running in the red machine and does a great job. Wandered over by the right, had to pull it back to the left a little bit. So a little bit of brake action and still puts a 309 and 93 up on the board.
Looks like he's going to keep that hook there as we take a look at our running order courtesy of General Tire. And the interesting thing about this 4-1 limited pro stock tractor class is that they have so many rules and the tractors are so similar that it really comes down to the finite things like your setup and driving style that really separate the competitors on the track and cause our winner.
Joe Morinado coming up here next. No green, no glory. Boy, what a great shot, man. Front end up on that John Deere. You can see those big tires in the back wrinkling up and a beautiful number on the board at 314 and 22.
And the great thing about those 24.5s wrinkling like that is that they're getting a little bit flatter and they've got a big wide footprint on the track to help them dig in off the line.
Ethan Ritter's going to try to track down Smokin' Joe on the Wild engine. And he goes from left to right. You can see the wrinkles on the side of those tires right there as he really puts them to work, and he does sneak by. How about that? 315 and 53 as he puts a little more than a foot on him.
And I think there's still a little bit more left in this track as we saw him travel from the left to the right. And so if somebody can keep it in a straight line, they're really going to leg it out.
Here comes the Gopher and Connie Molinex out of Unionville, Missouri. Haven't seen her at all the hooks, but great to see her out here at this one, and a very respectable 306 and 58.
Yeah, she and her husband, Jerry, also run that Champion Seed Western Series, and that's where they spend a lot of their time.
We'll take a quick break here. We are off and running here at Wheatland. There's a look at your top 3. We'll be right back.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
And welcome back to Wheatland, Missouri, the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Lucas Oil Products. Covering the limited Pro Stock tractor category, this is a Silver Series category as we take a look at Jesse Giza. Boy, just something about those black Internationals. That is a beautiful tractor for sure. 305 and 93.
Yeah, Jesse got a little bit of a late start to the season. Saw him for the first time in Nashville, Illinois for 2 hooks to kick off his season on the Silver Series.
Here comes Colby Seth and the special edition. Front end way up in the air. Pretty wild ride there, and a really strong number. 315 and 21 is going to miss the lead by about 3 inches or so.
And he's used to having all 4 tires on the ground because he has a limited Pro Stock diesel truck, so he's just subbing in for the Bosmas this weekend. So what a great sub they picked. Nicely
done. Bradley Hartman coming up here next, behind the wheel of the International Addiction. This is the championship winning tractor. Quentin Hartman, typically behind the wheel, has a win and 2 second-place finishes on the season. And unfortunately, we lost Quentin just recently and way, way too soon.
But I think you guys should note that's not a flag on the back of the roll cage. That's actually his father's fire suit jacket, so he's giving him one last ride down the track here.
Yeah, the quiet, mild-mannered man was very good at what he did out here, and he will be deeply, deeply missed. What a shame. And this was to be a points battle, the final one of the 2021 season, but all the competitors in this category said, nope, we don't want it to go down this way. Quentin is a part of what we do out here. If it's going to be a points battle, then we're not going to come out and pull. We will all stand behind Quentin. So they decided to make it a memorial pull in memory of Quentin Hartman. And Cade Shottle will come out here, and oh my goodness, does he lay one down. Oh, Black Magic puts 3:33 and 14 on the board.
So exciting to see this young man stepping in, Rod Shottle normally driving and just taking it down the track. Great setup by the crew there. Look at that front end dangling and powering through with amazing ground speed. And no surprise here, always a good run-in piece, but to have a young driver come in here, he also picked up a second-place finish just 1 hook ago at Nashville, Illinois, so it's really coming around naturally to him.
Puts near 18 feet on his closest competitor. I mean, that is massive. As we take a look at Jared Wortman coming up here next, behind the wheel of the Goliath. Wow, and he throws a number on the board as well. Not as strong as old Black Magic, but good enough to jump up into a very strong second place at 3:19 and 60.
Definitely had his eyes on the track position and just went a little bit to the right of that hole shot that old Black Magic had. And, you know, I thought about halfway through the pull, once that Optima Batteries box started to top off, it gave him a jolt, and he was really had a lot of hops in his run. I didn't think he was going to leg it out that far. I thought it was going to stop him short, but he had enough ground speed to carry him out the end and keep him rolling.
When I said I love those black Internationals, that gray one looked pretty good too. Here comes a traditional red International with Adrian Cox behind the wheel of the Hickory Hooker.
Yeah, really strong tractor, former Western Series champion.
Kicked the season off with a second-place finish at Nashville. Comes out here, oh man, and he gets a good number too. Adrian Cox and the Hickory Hooker goes 3:19 and 41. Just misses second by the smallest of margins, but will enter the top three. And welcome back to the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Lucas Oil Products. Right now it is Cade Schottel way out front at 3:33, and second and third are separated by just a couple of inches at a little over 3:19. Here comes the running red hot Team Tracker running in the red. Just grabbed the win at our last hook. And he'll end up well short of what he needs out here this evening at 3:04 and 76.
Looked like they were just a little bit heavy on the nose, maybe moved only one of those 100-pound weights back, but did not get the wheel stand that he needed to drive that weight into the rear tires to help him get that horsepower to the ground.
And our final hook here in the category is Travis Weisel. He'll end up the season third in the points, a very solid 2021. With a couple of podiums to go along with it.
Oh, he has to get into the break.
Right over there by the chalk, but never got in it. He did keep it in bounds, but yeah, all that brake action you mentioned cost him a ton of distance at 2:93 and 47. So that'll wrap things up here. We'll get it down to the podium and talk to our winner, Cade Schottel.
What a huge distance here in our limited pro stock class. And Gage, your first year in the category, and you put big number like that up on the board and take the big win here. What's it like?
It's fun. I enjoyed every second of it, and I look forward to coming here again.
So, you know, usually we see Rod on the old Black Magic, and so I joked with him and said, I think your seat time's up, buddy.
Probably not, but
we'll let him have some fun every once in a while, right? A big win for you, your team. Smiles all around. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you. I would like to thank Hartz Diesel, Prairie Performance, and I also like to thank my family. I wouldn't be able to be here if they weren't here for me and supporting me. And prayers go to the Hartman family.
And here's a look at how they will finish up. Wow, man, what a huge number there for Schottel. Congratulations to that team on that big effort. And then take a look at the difference there between second and third. I mean, just a couple of inches. Always fun to watch this category. There's some tough players in here. Large as well. Let's go back down to the podium.
Sometimes you come into a pull with a purpose, and sometimes you end up following through and maybe ending up on top of the box or at the bottom. But for you, Jared, this weekend, you definitely had a purpose coming here, and you definitely fulfilled your destiny.
I did. In 2019, I had a little bit of incident down here. I rode the wheelie bars at 150 foot, ended up crashing and burning, broke the left front spindle, and broke the frame rail. So I come down here with a frame of mind that I really wanted to redeem myself, and tonight it worked out. I did.
Yeah, and great balance on your tractor too, and I think that's what really helped you.
Oh, absolutely. It was a lucky guess. I watched Hartman's run right before me, and their front end picked up a little bit high, so I went ahead and moved another weight forward, and it seemed to work out okay.
Yeah, congratulations on the podium and redemption.
Thank you very much. It was nice. It was nice. I would like to thank Rodney Schnitkers with HD Specialties. I would like to thank Brett and Brent at 618 Motorsports. I'd like to thank Hartz Diesel for the fuel and air, and Chad Mayhill for the tires.
And another good look at that gorgeous International driven by Adrian Cox called the Hickory Hooker. Did a wonderful job out here. Just barely missed second place, but still strong enough to get up on the box. Let's go down and talk to him.
The track condition's really good here for our limited pro stock class. And Adrian, it seemed like it took a lot of power to get down there.
Yeah, it did, Leslie. Toward the end of the class, it kept getting a little bit better. We could get our front end up about 50, 75 feet out of the hole, and it was taking some power, and it's really fun to get going on a track like that, where you can get the sled up and get it running.
Yeah, you said you were worried, though, because you had some mechanical breakage during the run and didn't think you were going to make it here.
The last two passes we've made, we've had a pretty significant water leak, and we've been kind of fighting that a little bit. I thought I had it fixed tonight, but I can see that I didn't, so I'm really grateful that we even got up here in the top three.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And here's a look at the final points for 2021. Congratulations to Quentin Hartman as he grabbed the championship win here. Andrew right there behind him. What a great team effort out of those guys. Travis Weisel, Tom Gallitz, and Al Wright to round out the top 5. And we'll go back down to the podium and talk to the son of Quentin, Bradley Hartman.
So Bradley, you guys actually finished 1-2 in this points championship. You know, was there a point during the season with all these tough run and limited pros that you thought, hey, maybe we can sneak away with this?
I definitely didn't plan to leave with the 1-2. After Nashville, having the lead that we did, a 30-plus point lead, I knew that all I had to do with Dad's tractor was hook it to the sled and not go out of bounds, and I would have the win. And to have that kind of point gap against all these tractors, such great pullers, such great competitors, that it's dang near impossible, and it still hasn't quite sunk in yet.
Yeah, and that's quite an accomplishment because, you know, one of the guys that prevented you guys from taking the championships is standing behind you, and he actually helped you guys, you know, a lot this year, and you've always been so tough. So what does it finally mean to add that next to the name of the tractor, champion?
It means a lot, especially this year. It means a lot. Justin, he's a really good puller, really good friend, and he's been with us the whole time. And it's been a long road, but I'm glad we're finally here.
It is, and a long road, a lot of people helping you along the way to get here as well.
Yeah, I got a lot of people to thank. I got Kevin Hall with Hall Sporting, Rodney Schnitker, DNR Pulling Team, Josh Miley, Justin Wagler, Travis Wassel, he brought the tractor today. My mom, she's sitting at home. My brother's sitting at home. And last but not least, I got to thank my dad. We unfortunately lost him Wednesday, and I know he was with me on the tractor. I had his fire suit with me. It was hanging off the back, and he went for one last ride with me, and he got us where we are today, and he's going to be with me from here on in. I know it, and that's it.
Congratulations, and know that, you know, our hearts and our love and prayers are with you all.
Thank you.
Very well done there, Bradley. So tough and so emotional. Of course, thoughts and prayers with that entire family. We'll be right back, and we'll kick off the mini rods. And welcome back to the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Lucas Oil Products. We're at beautiful Lucas Oil Speedway here in Wheatland, Missouri. They call it the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. It is absolutely gorgeous, and so much that goes on at this facility. And up next is going to be the mini rods. Take a look at the points. Told you it was tight. The Sheltons and the Boyds have been duking it out all year long, and they come into the final event of the year separated by just 6 markers.
This has been an amazing battle, and there's been so much back and forth. And, you know, the Green Streak team had a little bit of a lead, but the Sheltons just kept chipping away at it. And here we are. They've given themselves an opportunity to take home a championship.
It's been a good year in the mini rod class. You know, we've battled it out with the Boyds all year long. You know, all 3 of our tractors have been up top. I'm just lucky enough to have mine up top, you know, contending for the points championship. So all we can ask for is a chance when we come here to Wheatland, and that's what we've got this weekend. So if the cards fall in our favor, that'll be great. But, you know, we're going to give it our best shot out there tonight and hope for the best.
Well, you know, we've never pulled a mini rod here at Wheatland, so over the course of the last week, I think I've worn my TV out going back and watching old reruns. Last year, I believe Dylan Bunnage won here, and Bruce Law was second or third, and they were both early hooks, so I'm really hoping that plays into my advantage again tonight.
I'm kind of glad that I'm the second tractor out of our camp to go. That way we'll get a good reading off my brother's tractor from the first one, but, you know, if it falls where it falls, you know, it's meant to be. But, you know, I'm just lucky to be out here and be doing this and to even have a chance. This is the first time I ever had a chance to win a championship, so I'm just tickled to death to have the chance.
2 great young and very, very talented pullers for sure. Great to have them on the tour, and of course their families built from integrity. All right, let's kick off the mini rods here with Adam Kester and walk the line. Yeehaw, baby! Great stuff, man. Way over there by the right side chalk line. Had to pull it back to the left a little bit. 3:19 and 64. But man, that thing was trucking.
Austin Boyd mentioned an early hook would have a good shot at this track, and man, what a great pass here. He gets that front end up. It's awfully stable and lots of ground speed. I think that he just turns the front tires a little bit, doesn't use those independent rear brakes to bring it back towards the center away from the line. Notoriously, on this particular track, the right sideline has a lot of bite in it, so you got to be careful over there.
Here's a look at the pulling order, and take a look at Austin Boyd right there. Your points leader coming in here is going to be next up, and then Reese Shelton with a cutting up, and then down on the 8 hole is Grayson Shelton. That's the other side of that championship battle as we take a look at this category. 18 tractors strong. So here comes our points leader, the Green Streak Black. This is Austin Boyd. Comes in here with 4 podiums on the season, including 3 wins. Boy, and the no notes from Wheatland is going to cost him $290 and $45. It is wide open for the taking.
Very interesting to see him spot that sled in the center of the track, and I think that that was a precaution because we saw Adam Kester first up lean towards that right sideline, and it's of importance to note that the Boyd camp is a little leery of going out of bounds here at Wheatland. There's been a championship that's been lost by the team, not Austin per se, but by the team out here by going out of bounds. And so that's really been drilled in Austin's head this week. And I think that Steve this week told him several times, don't go out of bounds. Whatever you do, don't go out of bounds.
Yeah, and he must have been listening. And it was Steve in a super modified tractor that unfortunately did go out of bounds and lost that championship. So yeah, they felt the sting of that as we watch the first of the Shelton machines coming up. So Reese Shelton puts 3:09 and 21 on the board. That is not good for Austin Boyd because they will relay that information right to the team tractor and try to help Grayson do a little bit better. And of course, the math there is they need a couple of tractors in between them.
Yeah, there has to be 3 tractors between Grayson Shelton and Austin Boyd in order for Grayson to take the championship here. And so if he can outleg his brother on the track here, that's 1, and he just needs help from 2 more vehicles. So things really start to heat up and get interesting now as we await that run a little bit later.
Bruce Law, certainly no slouch here, and we heard Austin talking about how good this team is. You come back here a year ago, they did stand on top of the box here. And the 2016 champ will put 3:07 and 84 on the board.
It got a little wily at the end, though, once that box topped off on the mini rod sled and really started a one wheel and kind of rattled back and forth. And so I think that took some of his distance at the top end, but still a great hook.
We continue on here with the mini rods. You can see him working the brakes there. Does a couple of things. Of course, that'll pump them up, get the fluid right there. It'll also get the pad nice and close to the rotor as well. So the second he goes to it, it will be close. There will be no delay. And just didn't seem to have the big RPMs you typically hear out of these things. 287.04.
And it sounded a bit off to me as well. And, you know, the Red Fox team spent a lot of time trying to create that horsepower and get the tune-up right this season. So, unfortunately, tonight, not their night.
We've got a lot of great tractors yet to go and a championship to be settled.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by K&N, filtration for the future. Super Clean, not just clean, super clean. And by Rhino Ag, born to lead.
The fans being treated to a great hook here at Lucas Oil Speedway. It's the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Lucas Oil Products. We are in the middle of our mini rod category, and here comes Abby Leichner, of course, the daughter of the multi-time champ Bill Leichner, behind the wheel of that Bobcat Jr., which is a championship winning tractor going back to 2019. And speaking of going back, General Tire is going to give us a flashback to Hillsboro.
Yeah, this is day 2, Hillsboro, Wisconsin, and check out this pass by the Bobcat. And it would start a little something for the team as they would then, after this amazing pass and win, head to Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, which is a tough, unpredictable track, and pick up another win. And so back-to-back wins for the team. So she's going to try to keep it rolling here and try to pick up a third.
While working both brake pedals in a violent way because these things move so quickly. 303 and 92.
You've got amazing wheel speeds here on these machines, and there's a point where the brakes may not be as beneficial as you want them to be, so you've got to get after them early and aggressively if you want them to work in your favor. And so she brings it back to the center twice, and look how hard she is on it at the last of the run there to try to keep it out of the chalk. Just amazing the know-how that she's got to use those brakes effectively to keep it in that straight line.
Yeah, the quick jabs too to immediately get those pads right back off of that road or just change the direction a little bit. Once again, we'll see Adam Kester here. This one called Footloose. And clearly not afraid of going to the right at all. Lines it right up on the right side chalk line and shoots it straight down through there. Unfortunately, at 291 and 80, did not get the results he was hoping for. As you take a look at that Lucas Oil team, everybody watching intently here.
And Greg has the distances on his phone there. There's an automated online service that they use to keep track of those distances to see how many positions might be between Grayson Shelton and Austin Boyd here to determine if they're going to hang on to the championship or if it's going to be battled out over the rest of the class.
As a refresher, Austin Boyd put 290 and 45 on the board. And he will end up with a distance of 301 and 44 on the board, clearly past the 290 and 45 mark that we saw Austin Boyd put up on the board. But nobody in between them as of now.
Now, we did see Adam Kester and Footloose go out there 291 and 80. However, he is not chasing points this season, so his distance will not count in the points race. I think this was a really safe run here for Grayson Shelton. He put it down on that right sideline where we've seen some people have some success, but I don't really feel that he was as aggressive as he could have been with this pass, that he was kind of playing a little bit safer just to make sure he could get past Austin. And you can see there his brother Reese looking at those distances, trying to figure out if there's anyone in between them yet, because now they've got to play the numbers game.
Playing that numbers game as you watch Reese smiling there. I wonder if they'll place a team member or some sort of marker there just past the 290 mark, but short of the 301 mark to help Reese click that thing off right where he needs to be to get in between the two.
And don't forget, Austin Boyd has another entry too, and he can't get in between either.
Eric Harmison and the backdraft will end up a little bit short here at 296 and 90.
Okay, so here we go. The count begins. That is one tractor between our contenders here with Harmison and the backdraft.
And also keep in mind, as Leslie mentioned earlier, they need a total of 3 for them to win it. 2, and it's a tie, and the tiebreaker would go to Austin based on number of wins on the season.
I'm really excited to see Pysick here, and the Fallout machine picked up a huge win at Hillsboro, Wisconsin.
Boy, that thing got pretty violent there. That front end landed really, really hard, and he started to back out of it. Probably for the better here and not damage that machine or himself for that matter, and consequently will end up well short.
A learning curve with the reactions here on the mini rod. Obviously, these guys have light supers, and so that's a different beast in itself. Very quick to react there, but not quite as quickly as these 3,000 horsepower mini rods.
So here we go, another very important piece of the puzzle here. This is Grayson's brother, Reese Shelton, behind the wheel of the Splinter. We'll see where he parks this thing. And for sure, working that throttle to try and get that thing right where he wanted it. As you can tell, it is not an easy thing to do, but he has accomplished the goal at 291.09. He does get past the 290 mark, puts himself between Austin Boyd and his brother Grayson. Crazy stuff going on here. A Boyd tractor is coming up next. Stay with us. And we're back here at the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Lucas Oil Products. The games are in full effect here to win the championship in 2021. It'll be decided right here at beautiful Lucas Oil Speedway, Wheatland, Missouri. We just saw Reese Shelton do his job as a team tractor, parked it between Austin Boyd and Grayson Shelton.
And I didn't expect much of a run here from Austin. I didn't obviously expect him to run it out of bounds that quickly, but you can tell he was going to aim it towards the sideline there and not even take a chance at trying to place himself between Grayson Shelton and his earlier tractor to be that third machine. And so obviously out of bounds early to play it safe. He's got to play the game here. Some people don't like that, but I think it's gamesmanship. And if you're going to win a championship, you've got to do that.
Well, let me tell you something. His hand was dealt to him when Reese went out there and worked the throttle to park that thing purposely between 290 and 301. He had absolutely no choice but to go out there and play the same game as the tractor right behind him. So yeah, he runs it out of bounds, and we don't have to worry about him being the third tractor. Right now it's 2. One more tractor gets in between them, and the championship swings the other way to the Shelton camp. Up next, Matt Johnson in the 1X, a tough player here. Comes in here 6th in the points. Wow, and he is right there. Could it be 300.76? That's the third tractor. The championship just went to Grayson Shelton's favor.
Just so awesome to see the raw excitement for that team. You know, they've worked so hard for it all season long. And then look at this. Austin Boyd comes right over to congratulate his rival. And that's what we're talking about in pulling here, just the sportsmanship and the camaraderie that exists among the teams out here that are laying it down on the track.
The next team coming up here is the Slaw Camp. They are very good at what they do. In fact, have finished first and second in the category. Tyler Slaw with 3 podium finishes in the last 4 hooks and attributes a lot of that to Summit Racing.
Well, we are excited to welcome Summit Racing on board this season, not only as a contingency sponsor, but the title sponsor for the mini rod category. And, you know, I know it's really important, Tyler, to pullers to have that contingency, especially with a company like Summit, where you've been ordering parts for years.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be able to use that contingency money towards parts on the pulling tractor when we get home from an event and see that something's broken, like some steerage linkage or a fuel line. Order that part 2 in the afternoon, and the very next day with next day shipping, it's there. We can put it on, gets us back on the road and headed to the next event.
And we're talking about parts that you've ordered this season to keep you in this points chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, things break, but they keep us going. It's great.
Tough player for sure. 5 podiums on the season, but still hungry for that first win. Oh boy, and he just might get it right here at Wheatland, the final hook of the season. Puts a fat number up on the board, 3:28.05.
I was really apprehensive of his finish after seeing his hole shot. It was pretty rough out there, and you can see that he is kind of working that throttle a little bit to try to get it to hook up, keep it under control, and get those tires locked into the track. That's ever so important. I think the distance here is really a tribute to his tune-up. He's been really aggressive throughout the course of the season, doesn't want to kind of lay up and just settle for somewhere in the middle, and so has the horsepower on the track and uses it to work through some of those abnormalities that he hit with those small 2-ply tires out there that kind of sent him a little wicked and then really helped him drive it out towards the end.
And of course, looks like he would remain there safely. I mean, we still have some tractors to go, but certainly inside of the top 3 would be his 6th podium on the season. That is an incredible effort, to say the least. Up next will be Chase Richardson. And the name of the tractor is called Vibrator. And finally pulls the handle back on that one at 3:08.67.
I think our competitors are going to have to be a little picky down on the starting line with their hole shots. You know, this is the 3rd vehicle we've seen in a row on that right sideline have issues getting started, and that's just a tribute to the fact that those tires are spinning so fast when they leave the line that they're chewing it up and leaving divots. And even though our team out here uses the Harley rake to kind of mix it up and pull it back together and fill in those holes before they go ahead and roll it in, it's still never exactly the same.
3 tractors yet to go here. This one out of Litchfield, Kentucky. It's called the Pile Driver, and C.J. Grayson behind the wheel. You can hear him kind of working the throttle a little bit as well. Sounded like it kind of knocked the tires off, and then all of a sudden it got a bite, and he tried to pour the coal to it. 286.92.
Yeah, you can see the butterflies were only about halfway open until the 100-foot mark out there, and so he really did give it a good effort at the very end.
There's a look at your top 3, and we have 2 tractors yet to go.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by General Tire, anywhere is possible. Line X, this is Line X country. And by Lucas Oil, keep that engine alive.
There's a beautiful overhead shot of the diamond of dirt tracks and, of course, dual pulling tracks here at the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals, presented by Lucas Oil Products. So much work goes into building this event here at the end of the year as the Buckeye Special comes up here next, and this is Richard Peters. Front end up, puts on a nice show, and ends up with a distance of 3:03.19.
So interesting to kind of be lackluster about 3:03.19, where normally that would be a leading distance, but with technology advancing, that traditional full pull mark of 300 feet really kind of out the window here as our leader out past 328 feet.
And our final tractor.
Oh, big time break to bring it around.
Yeah, that'll hurt him for sure. Robbie Fagundes with the bank roller, and Ends up at 277.24. That's going to wrap up the category right there. Congratulations to Tyler Slaw. Took him all season long, but he finally got a win. But boy, he did have a great season all the way through with 6 podiums. Here's our Super Clean Pool recap.
Adam Kester was the first hook of the night and lays down this enormous pass out here with the tractor he calls Walk the Line.
Then, of course, Reese Shelton came out here and did what he needed to do, put that thing up in 3rd place, got a good read on the track to help his brother win this championship. And then, of course, Tyler Slaw comes out here and puts together a magical effort and grabs his first win of the 2021 season. Let's go down and talk to him.
So it was a super long hook for you, and you had to wait and some adversity in the class. So how were you able to pull it together and pull off this big win?
That was pretty tricky, but the first 30 foot didn't even feel good, but we just went wide open with it, and the track actually stuck, and it took the power, and everything went right for once.
You did your job tonight. Everything indeed. It seemed like, though, about the 250-foot mark, that was when it really started to take a set and just go sailing.
Oh, yeah, at 250 foot, I was feeling pretty good about it for sure.
A lot to feel pretty good about tonight, ending your season with this big win.
Yeah, that's my first win of the year. I've never won here before, so to get a win here at Wheatland is an absolutely fantastic way to end the season.
Awesome, and by the way, multi-time champ Jeff Hurt standing over there behind him as well. Tyler Slaw up top. How about the Slaws? Both tractors inside of the top 5. Kester, Shelton, and Chase Richardson also inside of that top 5. See Reese Shelton back down there a little bit lower. Still managed to do what he needed to do to help his brother Grayson win it.
So it was an early hook that takes 2nd place tonight, and something about Wheatland for you, Adam, here. Back-to-back 2nd place podiums from last year to this year.
Yeah, we get 3 shots at it. We get one of them down there. We're happy, but Tyler made a heck of a pass, and I'm just happy to be here. It was a good run.
Well, and you're just a little short-staffed this weekend, too, because usually you have just a brood of people out here, but very, very small crew, and to do it with 3 vehicles has got to be tough.
Yeah, I recruited the Simons. They pull about 9 vehicles half the time, so this was a piece of cake for them. But I want to thank them for helping, Jordan and RJ and their family for helping us. So just want to thank Shell, Rule King, and Lucas Oil for having us here tonight, and then thank you very much.
And we'll go back here and take a look at Reese Shelton's effort. He did this one early on in the category, learned a lot for sure, and was able to pass that information on. He ends up in 3rd place.
So a solid performance tonight for Team Shelton. And Reese, you did your job tonight, putting it up on the box here in 3rd place.
Oh yeah, we can't complain with that. Had an early number. Track kind of went away, but came back there at the end. I gotta thank my crew back here. We drove, we call it a cannonball run coming out here. Left last night after we got off work. Got here about lunchtime today. Unloaded everything, teched. Got everything ready to go today. Went out here, did our job. We'd like to have a 1st place tonight, but we'll settle for 3rd. Tyler Slaw, he made a heck of a pass, and Adam Kester, he set one out there at the beginning. We can't complain with what we've done. So finished out the year strong on a podium.
And we take a look at the final points here. That was Grayson, who was standing right behind his brother Reese, and will win this championship by a mere 2 points. What a great battle between the Shelton camp and the Boyd camp. No doubt the Boyds will be back to fight again.
What an amazing points chase. And Grayson, it came down to the wire there, and I saw you counting vehicles as they were making their passes. So what does it feel like now to finally be the champ?
It's kind of surreal. 10 years ago today, my dad won a mod championship out here, and I remember that. I was just a little squirt then, and been driving for 9 years now, and we worked so hard for this all year long, and kept digging at him. We came in here, we knew we had a chance, and the chips fell right. And what an awesome team I got behind us back here. They worked their rear end off all year long. Tanner right here, everybody back at home. All the staff that puts this on. I don't know how to put it into words. We work so hard for this and drive so long, but it's definitely a sweet feeling, and couldn't ask for a better team to battle it out with all year long. They're as tough as they can be. Top-notch people, and we're just tickled to death, and hopefully we can come back next year and repeat.
Never miss a hook. Go to propulling.com/set reminder to add all of the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League airings to your personal calendar. Receive a calendar reminder minutes before each event airs.
What a great time out here. Of course, we will always remember Quentin Hartman, and sorry we lost him so soon. Congratulations to the Shelton camp on a hard-fought victory and that championship. Hope you enjoyed all the great pulling action.